everybody, I just played through Space Marine 2, and I did something that everybody should do when they want to hate themselves after playing through a game. I looked up YouTube videos on Space Marine 2, and I found some that were trending and very popular, and I watched them and listened to all of them, and I disagreed with a lot of the hate that they were putting on AA games and indie games. Now, what were these videos? It was Space Marine 2 is a reminder of what we lost by Legendary Drops, and of course, a very unique and creative Space Marine 2 is a reminder of what we lost, Gold Reacts. Very creative, that man. I don't like React content, so I'm not going to just watch the video and react to it. No, I took notes here, and I have notes on my other monitor, and I wanted to go through them because a lot of the things they said, they seem to not understand what happened with AA games. They seem to not understand what happened with indie games, and they don't really even seem to play them at all, which I'll explain here in a second. Now, look, I know this video isn't entirely going to be about Space Marine 2, but it will delve a little bit into Space Marine 2, but it will be primarily about indie games and AA games, and why not every game can just be a Space Marine 2. So first off, how do I know that they're not playing AA games, and how do I know they're not playing indie games anymore? Well, it's pretty obvious. When you look at their channel, what do you see? The most popular games, and only the most popular games. They don't play AA games, they don't play indie games, they don't even understand what's happening with them. They literally only play and talk about the most popular games ever. And when they don't talk about the most popular games ever, they get very little views. And so they're not encouraged to play them, and they're not encouraged to make videos about them, which I understand. Look, they're YouTubers, and they want to appeal to the algorithm. They want to get the most viewers possible to make the most money possible. But you cannot possibly tell me that people putting this much effort and this much content into only the most popular games possibly have a correct opinion of what's happening with indie games. Now, I did look at Gold's channel as well. He uploads a lot, so I know he, for example, has no time to be playing indie games. But I saw this one video, why I only play old games. And I looked through all his stuff here. Now, first off, I want to talk about, just as an off topic, why I only play old games. And he put Oblivion. That's how I know he's not only playing old games, because he would be playing Skyrim, not Oblivion. Who actually tries to pretend they still actively play Oblivion? Now, those of you who do, great, cool. Why aren't you just playing Skyrim? Skyrim is just better than Oblivion. Skyrim was literally made to be better Oblivion. That was its entire intent. That was its job. Now, I love Oblivion. I played it a lot as a kid. I think I did literally the entire game when I was a kid. I couldn't afford the DLC, so I didn't do that, which I did get the Shenagorath, whatever his name is, stuff. I did get that one, but I couldn't get the other ones. Oh well. Which kind of also plays into what I'm going to talk about here in a second. But this dude only talks about and only plays the most popular stuff. And my God, with the amount of time he spends talking about it, there is no way this dude has a proper understanding of indie games. Now, let me go into this for a second. Back in the 90s and the 80s, I was technically born in the 80s, so I can say I lived through the 80s. Back in the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, up until about the 2010s, it was pretty common for you to buy $60 games. It was pretty common for you to buy games like Space Marine. And they're lamenting that we lost games like Space Marine. But why did we lose these games? It's because people couldn't afford it, and they weren't really selling that much. See, when these people talk about these games, when they talk about old games, let me go back and we'll look here. When we talk about these old games, look at the old games that he's talking about. Outlast, Oblivion, Warcraft 3. The dude is like trying to be a hipster for old video games. My God, it's like he only wanted to talk about the most popular ones. Why? Because you don't play the other ones. You don't play the other games that were also popular, or let's say less popular at the time. Because you want to know what happened? All those AA games, you know what happened to them? Why did we lost them? It's because, look, no one likes putting down $60 for a campaign that's 6 to 8 hours long that you don't really get to enjoy, that you don't really get through. It's just financially irresponsible. And as time went on, as the economy started getting worse and worse and worse, these AA games that were unremarkable, unrememberable, these AA games started to get less and less bought, which meant people couldn't really make them anymore. People talk about the death of single player games. AAA games are doing fine. And it's amusing to me how much in both these videos they talk about Gears of War, and they compare this game to Gears of War. Do you guys know about Gears of War? Guys, I bought some of those games, those AA games that were kind of like Gears of War Light, First off, I can't even remember their names anymore. Second off, I really miss the $60 I put on a game that I maybe played for like 4 hours before just getting so bored of it, I never even finished it. And let's be real, if you did that these days, you'd want a refund. You would take it back, but you couldn't really do that, and you can't really do that. And it's just financially irresponsible to do that. So what happened to all these indie games? Well, they're quite popular still. In fact, I play a lot of them. I play almost all the Paradox games, Europa Universalis, Stellaris, Crusader Kings, Hearts of Iron. I even played Victoria 3 begrudgingly. I play the Total War games. I played through Pharaoh. I play the open world RPG roguelike games. You know what I'm talking about? Like Kenshi, Bannerlord, RimWorld. I play those sorts of games. And they're all doing fine. They're all doing just fine. How fine are they doing? In fact, if we look at EU4 has only gotten more popular over time, as has, well, I should say did Total Warhammer 2, as did Hearts of Iron 4, which has only gotten colossally more popular over time. Don't really understand that one. Doesn't World War II get boring? Mount & Blade Bannerlord, despite being released back in 2020, I'm old, has pretty much maintained a higher and yet the same player base over time, despite developers very rarely adding anything to this game. You can buy Bannerlord 2 right now if it's ever on sale. I don't think there's any DLC or anything for this game you have to buy. I'm pretty sure there isn't. I don't like speaking in definites, but I don't remember ever buying any DLC for this game. And you can just play it forever, and you can see it's still popular. It's still being played. People still enjoyed this game. Which is crazy to me that it's being talked about like it's dead. It's not dead. So what happened? How did we go from financially irresponsible to these games being popular? Well, let's take Hearts of Iron 4 as a good example. Now, I'm going to say there's two different philosophies for what happened here. I'm going to explain each different one, and I hope you can understand. Hearts of Iron 4. Let's look at this game for a second. Oh, and by the way, what happened? Oh man, I totally forgot I was going to use this. I put this up just in case I forgot. What happened to these short campaign games? What happened to these AA games? See, what happens is a lot of people don't like spending $60 for an okay game. Not every game can be good. See, Space Marine 2 was good. It was a legitimately good game. I would rank it as a legitimately good game. An 8 out of 10 at the very least. Perhaps maybe even a 9 out of 10 if they maybe address some of the solo play issues, but we'll see. But at least as a co-op game, it's like nearly 10 out of 10. It's pretty dang good, right? But what happened to the games that didn't do that? What happens to the games that were just mediocre? Well, what happens is everyone reviews them poorly because they don't like putting down $60 to $70 on a game that feels kind of eh. And that's the problem. The normal AA games, the normal indie games, they will feel kind of eh. They're not very good. That's why they're not the AAA games, okay? They're made by smaller studios and they're doing their best, but sometimes your best just isn't good enough. Anyway, let's talk about this. I'm going to talk about Hearts of Iron 4. Hearts of Iron 4, because a lot of you guys don't seem to really understand this game. Because you look at this, and you see this, and you go, oh my god, is that $181 of DLC? How do you call that affordable? Well, because you don't buy it all at once. And let me explain what happens. You buy into Hearts of Iron. Back in 2016, a younger version of me, 8 years my junior, bought this game, and I thought it was okay. It was okay. I mean, I haven't put that much time into it. 363 hours. It's like I completed the tutorial, right? And I didn't really like it. And then, I mean, is it $40? Yeah, $50. Okay, a little bit more expensive than the other games. So for $50, I bought it, played through it, and I was like, eh. Then a couple months later, they released a DLC. A couple months later, they released a DLC. A couple months later, they released a DLC. And I feel like they must have baked some of this content into the base game, didn't they? Did they? I don't know. I bought it all. At any rate, well, I didn't buy the South American DLC. That's for sure, South America. What did you guys do in World War II? Ugh. Anyway, every couple of months, you can put in like $10 to $20, depends, you know, on when how big the content is, and you can play the game again. And that is significantly more affordable than buying a $60 game over and over again. See, these games are made to be replayable. This is what AA and this is what indie games became, and this is how they get more popular over time. Every couple of months, A new DLC comes out, a new patch comes out, a new content update comes out, and you might call it a games as a service, a live service kind of game. And in a way, yes, it is. And I know that's gotten a bad reputation, but surely you can understand that even if you think it's gotten a bad reputation, that you have to admit that, boy, it seems to be working. People seem to be liking this. It seems to only be getting more and more popular as time goes on, and it worked. It worked a lot. It worked for EU4. It worked for Total Warhammer 2. Maybe not to the same degree, but you can clearly see these numbers were increasing over time. We'll get into that later. But what happens is every couple of months there's a new content update, and you can go buy it, and you play the game, and it's cool, and it's fun, and you just enjoy it, and you enjoy your time with the game, and then maybe a couple months later you come back, you buy it again, and you go, cool. Another content update, and you play through again, and you're like, oh, that was worth my time, and you come back in a few months, and you play again, and again, and again, and again. One of the greatest examples of this is probably Stellaris, who it refuses to want to show me. Stellaris is another game that has a lot of DLC that's ludicrously expensive. Now, Stellaris kind of plays into two different ways. Now, this is going to kind of be my bridge game, explaining how these sorts of games are still popular and why people like this just don't seem to appreciate it or even understand what they are, okay? What you do in Stellaris is you have two kinds of DLC. You've got species packs. Do you see that right here? You got story packs, and then you got the big expansions. Every couple of months, you can come by and you can buy one of the big expansions. Cosmic Storms just came out. I haven't gotten around to it. Maybe I'll get around to it. We'll see. But at either rate, if you buy the game, you can play the game. And then you can buy these expansions. And each time you buy an expansion, it adds a little bit to your game. So you buy Stellaris. And do you like Stellaris? If you do, then you maybe buy an expansion. And every time you have some money, and every time you're interested, and every time you can put a little bit more money into the game, you can make the game a little bit more interesting for yourself. You can add a little bit to it. You can maybe buy the aquatic species pack because you heard, oh man, these aquatics, they kind of have some cool modifiers I could use. I'd really like to play as an aquatic, or maybe I'd like to play as a lethoid, or maybe I'd like to play as a toxoid. That kind of could be interesting. And that's what you do, and you play through on games like that. So how did games like Total Warhammer 2 get popular then? Similar idea, and I'll get into a lot of other stuff. Total Warhammer 2, well, let's look at Total Warhammer 3 just to show you an example. I do have a video talking about what DLC to buy, but in Total Warhammer 3, you buy the game. Now, do you like the game? Games are getting pretty good reviews lately. Good job, Total Warhammer 3, pulling it back. Do you like the game? You bought the game, you play Cathay, you play Kislev. Do you enjoy the game? Do you want to play a different faction? Well, you don't need to buy all of this. In fact, you don't need to buy any of this. You can just play the base game and have fun with that. And every couple of months, they'll put out a new patch. They'll put out more content. They'll do some fixes. They'll do some updates. And maybe you can play your same faction again, and maybe it'll have a little bit of an update. But let's say you want a little bit more. I liked playing as Cathay so much. Is there another ranged faction I could enjoy? Maybe you go by Rise of the Tomb Kings. Maybe you like playing humans. So what do? I'll buy Total Warhammer 1. See, Total Warhammer 1 can be played within Total Warhammer 3. Now you can take out your Empire of Man, and you can play it on the Total Warhammer 3 map. It's already there. The AI will be the Empire of Man, but now you can play as them. And then you say to yourself, man, I like the Empire of Man, but I wish I had more units. And you could go ahead and you can buy Elspeth, and now you got more units, and you can play as Elspeth, a new faction within the Empire of Man that you can play. Now, you can buy all of this piecemeal, not all at the same time, but you can keep coming back and you can keep enjoying this game. The game will never charge you more money to continue to play it. You can continue to play it for free for as long as you want until you want to give it money. And that is what happened to these junk food games. You know what my junk food is? Do you know what I put money on? Sometimes I buy a game like Space Marine 2 and I like my time with it. But sometimes, you know, you just gotta play 1,322 hours of Total Warhammer 3. And sometimes you got to play 310 hours of Total Warhammer 2. And sometimes you got to put 46 hours into Total Warhammer 1 and then get bored of it and quit. But at any rate, you get the idea here, right? This is my junk food. Every time an expansion comes out, every time something comes out, that's my junk food. You ask me, what do I do with my money? How do I play so many games? Because I come back every so often, and once a month, one of my favorite games will come out with a new expansion. Or maybe I buy a new game and I buy into it. You know, maybe I buy Age of Wonders 4 and I think to myself, man, Age of Wonders 4 is really fun. And I look up the content, I look it up and I go, oh my God, Age of Wonders 4 is releasing an expansion soon. Maybe I'll buy that. Ooh, it could add some cool stuff to me. But you know what's happening? A couple months from now, they're going to add some new ogres. I'm really looking forward to that. Maybe I'll buy the ogres. Maybe I'll buy all 3 of the lords. I don't know. I could be crazy. I could splurge. See, I didn't buy the Stellaris expansion yet because I just not interested in playing the Stellaris expansion yet. But if I'm bored in a couple of months, maybe I could go do that. And in fact, it gets better and better and better, because I did notice here, Mr. Osmond Gold, I did notice you mentioned Oblivion. Modding is big. Modding is very big. And in fact, I've been playing a game lately. You know what game I've been playing? Crusader Kings. See, because in Crusader Kings, there's a mod. It's pretty well made, and I have been liking it. Called, let's try this one more time, The Elder Kings. See, it's a mod where they try to take Elder Scrolls and put it into Crusader Kings, and I've been playing it, and I've actually been enjoying my time with it. I put a good bit of time into this game. Crusader Kings itself has been improving over time. You know, hats off to them. I think Crusader Kings 3 released a little bit bare bones. It's taken way too long. Let's be real. It's taken way too long, but it is improving over time. I do think it's improving over time, and there's mods, and there's lots of things you can come back to these games and do. My junk food is going and playing some fam mod of Skyrim within Crusader Kings 3. So, as a response to these, what happened to the AA games? What happened to these indie games? They evolved. They advanced. They're still junk food. Okay? They're still easy to buy. You don't have to play them forever. You could if you enjoy them. You could not if you enjoy them. See, me personally, let's use another example here. RimWorld. I bought the RimWorld expansions. I put 199 hours into it. RimWorld's probably not for me. Will I continue to buy into new RimWorld expansions? Probably not. It's fine, but it's fine. It's just maybe not for me. Now, let me be clear. These sorts of games not only are popular, as we can see here with these 24-hour peaks, even Total Warhammer 2 has not released content in 2-3 years now. It's been a while, okay? And despite that, it still maintains 2,732 daily players. A lot of people enjoyed this game. A lot of people continue to enjoy this game. But here's the thing. A lot of games, ones that even I don't play, adopt this same policy. Now, you can buy these indie games, these ones that release. You can buy UFO 50, TCG Card Shop Simulator. I'm not endorsing them. I'm just saying you have the possibility of doing it. You can do that. In the same way that you bought Helldivers 2, a games as a service game, which apparently is amazing and yet is also exactly what they hate. So figure that one out. But you could buy Frostpunk 2, which is a game that's releasing in a few days, which a lot of people seem to be hyping up. I mean, maybe I'll buy into it. It does seem like it could be cool. I did play the first one. You go for Satisfactory, you go with these. You go for Euro Truck Simulator 2. This game came out in 2012. And yet, is it still releasing DLC? It is still releasing DLC. Way to go, Truck Simulator 2. Euro Truck Simulator 2, still releasing new content. Who's buying this for a 12-year-old game? Oh, people that like it. See, the thing is, now I know nothing about this game, but you can go buy it, and for $5, you could screw around in the game. And I'm sure if it's still popular, and it's overwhelmingly positive, so they're clearly doing something, okay? You can buy it for $5 and you play through the game. Do you like trucking? Do you like going through trucks? Do you like doing that stuff? Well, you know what you do? If you played through it and you put 40, 50 hours into the game, then you go buy the Italia expansion. And then you can drive through, presumably, Italy. Now, I don't play this game, but I know it. I mean, let me look at this. Euro Truck Simulator 2 Steam charts. How many people are playing this game? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You know what, Euro Truck Simulator players? You have my respect. You have managed to get a 12-year-old game to a 37,000 peak, and it has only gotten more popular with time. That's crazy. Look at this. And how do they do it? Because this is their junk food. Let me explain this to you guys. Instead of going out to eat, instead of getting Burger King, instead of getting Taco Bell, what are these people doing? They are buying Dragon Truck design paint. Because you know what? Sometimes you want to be a truck with a dragon on it, and you want that game that you own and you enjoy playing. Maybe you thought to yourself, man, this game's kind of badass. I like trucking. I like Euro Truck Simulating 2. But what if I had a dragon on my truck? Wouldn't that improve my experience? Well, now you can. For $1. That's your junk food. Look, people talk about there's no more dollar menu. There is a dollar menu. It's just paint jobs in Euro Truck Simulator 2. So that's my response. I don't think I have much more to say. I hope I've explained what happened to indie games. I hope I've explained why they're only getting more popular, why they're only getting more relevant as time goes on, and why, I'm going to be blunt with you, I kind of do not respect these people. I'm going to say it. I think these games are too intellectually stimulating for these people. I don't think they have the mental capacity to play Euro Truck Simulator 2. Do they have what it takes to truck in Europe twice? Perhaps in Italy? Is there an expansion even where you can go beyond Europe? Now I'm just wondering that. Let's see, we got Iberia, Ukrainian paint jobs pack. Ooh. We got, what are our expansions? We got Going East. Now what is Going East? See, and this is what I'm saying. If I was playing this game, we got Going East. Ooh. Warsaw, Krakow, Ostrava, Budapest, and Kosice. I don't know if I'm saying that last one correctly. I don't know if I'm saying any of them correctly. Actually, they are all within Europe, so good job. You stayed true to your intent. You are a Euro Truck Simulator now. Where am I going with this? Look, guys, don't call indie games dead because they improved. And let me make one little last point here. Why are these games often better than AAA games? Why do so many people enjoy playing these games forever and ever and ever? Let me explain this using Larian. Larian Studios. That's right, Baldur's Gate 3. Why do these studios often do better than their AAA studios? These AAA studios are obviously better. You might be saying to yourself, they've got the talent, they've got the money, they've got the resources. I just lied. No, see, they don't have the talent. Why don't they have the talent? Because they fire their developers all the time. These AA studios, these indie studios, and I mean, realistically, we can call this an indie studio. They publish and develop their own games. Reasonably, we can call them an independent developer, correct? Yes. See, I play a lot of Larian games. Now, sometimes I don't enjoy them, and sometimes I don't like them, but I always find them to be well made to their craft. They are crafted finely. I'm going to use the same word again, okay? These games might not be the kind of genre I enjoy. I generally don't enjoy turn-based games, but I can generally enjoy a quality game. And I buy in on these games all the time because I just find them to be well crafted. Baldur's Gate 3, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the whole way through. And do you know why? Do you know why I enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3 the whole way through? Because these people have been making games for 20 years. They've been making these turn-based games for 20 years, and they keep the same talent, and they keep these people on board, and they continue to improve their games over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And they came up with Baldur's Gate 3, and they've applied 20 years of talent and experience to their games. Let me tell you something here right quick. Why am I so interested in Europa Universalis 5, the 5th Europa Universalis game? Because I know who's making it. Johan. And I know when he's screwed up, and I know when he talks about it. I know when he talks about, things. I bought in on Imperator Rome. These are words that don't make sense to you. I know what he screwed up in Imperator Rome, and when he talks about what he screwed up, and when he puts out dev diaries talking about what he's going to do better in this one, I know what he's talking about, and I expect him to do better, and I hope he does better. And because the same developers are working on it, and the same developers keep working on it, and I know these people. If we talk about Larian, I know these people. If you're playing Euro Truck, I bet you, based on the reviews still being overwhelmingly positive, I bet you that you still know your developers too, don't you? Anyway, that's gonna be it for me. I just respectfully disagree. We don't need more $60 junk food campaigns, okay? What I want is good games, not AA pieces of crap. I want AA pieces of gold, okay? I will trade any number of Space Marine. Okay, actually, Space Marine 2 I did like. But I'll trade any number of Dragon's Dogma for a single Euro Truck Simulator 2. You know what? It's not for me. It isn't. It's not for me, but it's for somebody. Somebody is enjoying this game. A lot of somebodies, apparently, and that's good for them. So that's this video. That's what I was talking about. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, everybody. And as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Give me any comments, by the way. Thoughts, feelings. Subscribe to the channel, too. I try not to say that to not be annoying, but also I do need to say that or else you guys never actually subscribe. And then that kind of just hurts me in the long run. So sometimes I guess you do got to be annoying. So thank you all for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.